Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John Woolley, content creator for the Instagram page Make Wads Great Again. Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Niki. Niki, hello.
Hello.
How's your life in quarantine?
I mean, it's fine. It's the same. It's another day. You wake up and it's day. I don't know what day, but it's a day.
This is the Fridiest Tuesday I've ever had, considering it's Wednesday.
They all are, considering that it's appropriate to drink in all of them. Now.
I know. It's the whole week has already been weird, and I'm only 2 or 3 days in. And we have a special guest tonight. Your other bestie.
My other bestie. Don't get too jealous.
You have a
Steph
lot
Chung is here.
I know. Hello, Steph Chung. How are you?
Hello. I'm good.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to see you.
Most of our listeners are CrossFitters, so I think most everybody knows who you are, but you're a games athlete. So I feel obligated to say that. Like when you go to the games, it's like for me, it's like winning a gold medal. You're forever known as a games athlete to me.
Totally.
So,
well, thank you. That's a wonderful introduction.
I know. That's because I'm a professional, Steph. A total professional.
Meanwhile, yes. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm just playing along, honestly. But hi.
I listen to your podcast. You guys know what you're doing.
I don't.
Actually,
you and our mom. That's it.
Niki knows what she's doing. I just am here for the rude comments, and then Bean jumps in to make weird meows into the phone occasionally.
Hi, Bean.
So
he's so cute. I love
He's gonna
him.
freak out if I bring Kaya up here.
He might. Bean and I are having a very unique relationship right now because he's not used to me being home this much, and he's kind of a dick. But now he's having moments where he's being like crazy sweet, like he's crawling in my lap and like turning around and resting his head on my chest, and I'm like, I don't really like you, so I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this, you know. But he's so
when
cute.
Did we cross this line, bro?
I know, but he's so cute. I can't get rid of him. Like even now, he's just like hanging out in my lap, just like it's just a weird.
He never does this.
I know. I'm becoming a cat lady. I see how it happens. I know.
That's amazing.
I think the pets have it the weirdest right now because they don't really know what to do. Like they're really used to having everyone out during the day, and all of a sudden, like humans are home all the time.
I know. Let's talk about the real winners of the quarantine here. All of our pets. Yeah. They get us home constantly. The dogs for sure.
Oh, the dogs love it. I've gotten so many. I bet I've gotten, without exaggeration, 50 videos of people back squatting, front squatting, snatching dogs, kicking dogs. Like some of it's just horrible, but and the dogs are like the best sports. They like throw them over the shoulders. These dogs' tails just wagging. If I did that with Bean, he would just shred me, literally shred me.
What are you doing?
Yes. The best story that I heard when this first happened was there have been multiple accounts of dogs spraining their tails.
Yes.
Wagging them too much because they're so excited their parents are home all the time.
Yes. That's what Matt makes a joke every night because Griff, who I know 2 months ago on this podcast, we were talking about how I had just gotten a new puppy and he was just like this little itty bitty thing, probably weighs close to 90 pounds now.
He's huge.
He's huge and he's like a fucking tank. He just like tail wags and like butt wags into fucking everything constantly. And Matt's always joking that we're going to have like the next dog that sprains her tail and has to go to the vet.
Oh, those are the best. I used to have a Newfoundland when my daughters were 3 and 5. We had this Newfie and he was a puppy and it was the same, like 90 pounds like that. And Megan, who was, she was like basically a toddler. This dog, his tail would start wagging and he would literally just knock her across the room. Like she'd just, toddle into the tail and he'd just knock her across the room. He had no idea, he just thought he's being nice to her.
Sorry.
Massive dogs.
Yeah, it's been awesome though. I like it. I like being home with the dogs. And quarantine sucks in a way. I mean, the world has just absolutely gone to shit, and we're now sort of in this place where even if you've been in an area that hasn't been, I would say, drastically or dramatically affected in some of the ways like we've seen like New Orleans and New York be affected, shit is really starting to hit the fan. Like we are hitting that climb into the apex very quickly, even in areas that have been not spared, but have been, dealing with the issue relatively well. So it's getting scary. So now, quarantine sucks. And I think something like 80% of the world's CrossFit gyms are shut down at the moment, and small businesses are suffering. And there's a lot to consider. But I don't mind being home with the dogs. I'm glad that we're safe and healthy. I hope everyone out there is doing their best to stay that way as well. And I mean, pet a dog, it helps put a smile on your face.
So Steph, what do you do during all this? Like, do you have somewhere you can go to work out, or do you have to work out at home?
I am working out at home. It's Boston right now is not the most fun place, not the worst. So we're lucky in that way. But they have closed down all non-essential businesses and ordered employees of non-essential businesses to not be in the building. So some buildings have, if they had kind of all businesses that were non-essential, they've just said like, we're shut. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we're still able to go in and kind of get equipment as we need it. But I'm at home. I'm enjoying it's getting nicer. I can't say it's nice yet, but it's getting nicer outside. So I'm running a little bit more. And I'm really lucky I have some equipment here. So I do the best with what I have.
I was talking to Pat Vellner the other day. I swear to God, he has like 2 dumbbells and they're mismatching. I'm like, bro, you were like second at the games. This is all you got at home, you know? But they're so used to working out in gyms. So this is insane. Like I have a full gym in my basement. I'm like, all right, come on down.
Come over.
Yeah.
I am so jealous. I'm so jealous. We don't really have the space for that here. We live in a condo and we're on the 2nd floor. So there's like no weight dropping period. Even like setting a 35-pound dumbbell down non-gently would, like, our neighbors would pretty much hate us.
Right.
But so I don't do a lot of weightlifting inside. We're really lucky. We have some sandbags that we've got a while ago. So when the weather's nice, we have sandbags, sled, and then a Concept 2 bike, and we actually have a runner as well.
Ooh.
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, that's really nice. On the days that it's just like really too cold to outside. That
I know.
Really nice.
I keep watching all my friends posting like Instagram stories of them working out like in California and Florida, like out in their, like just in their garages and driveways. And I'm like, y'all, in the Northeast, it is still fucking freezing outside. And I would love to. I'd love to have like, just open the garage and come down and, shit, Steph, you guys could come down and we'll work out in the garage and you guys work out in the driveway. We'll be good because we can drop plates and shit, but it's still too cold.
It's way too cold. I know.
I'm committed to coming out of this quarantine the fittest I've ever been. Like I feel obligated to work out because I have all this gear and I have so many friends that don't. So it's like, and I don't have the girls full time. So, I have these big.
What are you doing all day?
Exactly. I'm working out like 3 hours a day. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Nice. Like, that's kind of cool.
You're the next games athlete, John.
Oh my God. John Woolley Masters 2021 games.
I know, right?
I would shit my pants. I would die.
It's hard though. Like it's hard to motivate yourself when you're by yourself. Like it's one thing like when you're working out with others. So I'm trying to like sneak in some, like I did a Zoom workout with some people the other day and that was weird, but I did it because I needed somebody to yell at me and that worked, Yeah.
I
like it. Steph, haven't you been leading Zoom classes for Invictus Boston?
Yeah. So when we transitioned really quickly, when the gyms closed, we started Zoom. And I was really anxious about it at first. I think it just because it was a new platform and I wasn't really sure what it'd be like. But to be honest, it feels very similar to coaching a normal class. So I really like it, with the exception of we're limited in movements, do a lot more adjustments, and we don't do as much skill work. But Zoom's been really cool. I think a lot of people have been surprised, like you, John, of how it works. They're like, oh, I don't want to really like work out on video. It's kind of weird. But you get a coach watching you and like it still feels like some people are doing the same thing that you're doing. And even if you just have that pressure of like, oh, someone might be watching me work out, then it kind of gets you to keep going.
It's a true story. We were on Zoom the other day and I was like adjusting the camera and I knew everybody could see me. So I leaned in close and I kind of flexed a little bit. And that's when they took a photo and like somebody texted me like, man, your arms look big. I'm like, they better look big. I flexed for that damn thing.
Well, you know what I like about it is that oftentimes if I'm left to my own devices, I'm like, all right, cool. Like the workout's in Tribe. Like I know I can do it on my own. It's body weight or it's whatever I have around. And I'll get to it. And then it's like 2 p.m. and I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely get to it. And then it's like 4 or 5 and I'm like, it's like dinner time. And then it's like dark out. I'm like, totally. I'll do it tomorrow. But if there's a Zoom class, at least I know okay, I can't get out of it. People are expecting me. I'm going to be on at 3:00. It's going to get done. Kind of like just like it is at the gym. If I show up, people will tell me what to do and I will get fitter. I just have to show up. Same thing with the Zoom class. It makes me more accountable on a timing basis.
For sure. It's like having a schedule. It's something to put in your schedule as a concrete thing, not like an item on the to-do list that can get shoved to the bottom or shoved to tomorrow.
And it's like the only thing on my schedule right now because I'm committed to not putting jeans on until after quarantine is over.
You better keep trying.
Jeans, definitely not. Bras, it's touchy. Maybe not on 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe.
Dude,
maybe.
you need to try on the jeans at least once a week because you gotta make sure you're making progress throughout that week. Sweatpants lie to you, man. They totally lie to you.
They're totally feeding my ego right now. These sweatpants are so loose.
Yeah. I feel great and comfortable every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally fine. I ordered like 12 bottles of dry shampoo from Ulta because all the stores are closed. And so we're just stocking up and we got the box in and Matt looks at it and he's like, so you're never washing your hair again? It's like quarantine. Probably not.
Quarantine's making us do all kind of weird shit. Like I went on Amazon and I asked the girls, I'm like, what do you guys want for food around the house? They still haven't caught up to the fact that the world is different,
Right.
So they're like ice cream. I'm like, I can't order ice cream on Amazon. Like it's not going to come to me. Like, what do you want? And so now I'm making this shit up. I have a full pantry of Scoopy fruit snacks because that's what, they're 18 and 16. So they still want fruit snacks.
Totally appropriate.
I know. I have like 50 bags of potato chips because you can't buy them like in groups of 10. You have to buy a full case. So I've got
just
all
the
these
important things.
Yeah, I did buy a ton of pretzels to eat with peanut butter because I love myself and peanut butter is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Just making us do the dumbest shit ever. I can't stand it. But
I'm eating breakfast dessert. Anyone else?
Yes.
Call me in.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just quarantine makes me want dessert with every time I eat, I have to finish with something sweet. So I'll make an omelet and be like, all right, time for some chocolate. 9:30 in the morning. I don't know. It's just happening. Just let it happen, guys. No big deal.
To be fair, I also believe that if you're having a rough time, if you just give yourself a little treat every once in a while, for
every 3
job,
hours,
it's 11. Yeah. Good job, it's 11. Or oh, you finished that on your to-do list. Congrats, here's a Cadbury chocolate egg. I'm not gonna lie, I've been on the Easter candy life for about a month and a half now. And everyone would make fun of me because I'd bring it to work in this little Tupperware. I still got it all measured out and whatever, but increments through the day, it's congrats, you got through session 1 and you made it through and here you go.
I like this plan.
I'm fully in.
Yeah, congrats. You woke up. Have an Easter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have 17 Cadbury eggs. Now, I do appreciate that you still weigh and measure it. True story. Steph is the only reason why I had any macronutrients at all during the entire Mayhem Throwdown weekend because we shared a room and I this, when I work events, when any of the media team work events, we just work these really long days and there's kind of no structure and you're just churning out content constantly. So, nutrition and eating, even just sitting down and eating completely goes by the wayside. But Steph is very measured. He's an athlete, at an event, very measured. I have my numbers, I have my food, and robbed Whole Foods before we even got to the event. Yep. So our kitchen was completely stocked. And I'm sitting and editing. I'm this close to my computer. I'm totally focused. And she's just weighing and measuring me bowls of delicious Greek yogurt. And here's a weighed and measured amount of chips you can eat. And I'm oh my God, this is amazing. I wouldn't have even eaten tonight.
I was Nikki, what have you eaten for food today? She's coffee? I was
so much coffee.
That counts.
Not food.
It counts. It totally counts. Totally counts.
Yeah, I also have 2 proclivities. I love food, and whenever I go for competition, I always overbuy, just in case. You never want to be stuck without it. And I love Whole Foods, so there wasn't a Whole Foods near Mayhem, so I went on my way to Mayhem. So there was plenty of food for many, many people.
We stocked up on the white chocolate peanut butter situation. That stuff is so good.
Do you find weighing and measuring comforting? Because I do. I've been measuring particularly since the quarantine. I mean, I've been doing it for a couple months now anyway, but I'm obsessing during the quarantine to make sure I don't overeat because my activity level is significantly different now. Mm-hmm. And not even overeat, just to make sure I either eat enough or or in some cases not overeat. Like, is that comforting for you, or is it just like you're so used to it now, it's just second nature?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm really type A though. Like I'm really planned out. So it really helps me to have that structure. So I think that's why I took to it really easily at the beginning. Obviously it was harder at the beginning to plan. Like it took a long time, but now it's so second nature. It's so easy for me to do. I really like it. And that's kind of one of the things I've tried to stick with, even though it's like 9 a.m. I can eat whatever I want. Like,
yeah.
Like, no, you're still going to eat like your normal breakfast and do normal things. Cause that helps me kind of not, maybe I lose where my days are, but at least I don't lose my whole day, you know, to eating kind of crap. Cause I could do that.
Do you just do your own thing, or do you have an app? Like, what do you use?
I use my FitnessPal.
Yes. We're buddies now.
John has abs thanks to my FitnessPal right now.
Yes.
Not fair.
It's true. Fair. Look, I'll tell the story again, but this is true stuff. Like when Niki and I were in Baltimore for the Under Armour Athlete Summit, and they gave me some tights. Now I've never owned tights before, but men's tights are not high waisted. I'm going to throw that out there. So I had total muffin top going on, and I was very unhappy about the muffin top. And so I'm like, screw this. Like, I need to do something about my weight. So I'm talking to our buddy, John Glaude, who runs Obese to Beast and has lost a ton of weight, a couple 100 pounds. And asked him, I'm like, hey, have you ever used this MyFitnessPal? He's like, yeah, it's how I've lost all my weight. So I'm like, great, I'll try it. Well, like day one, I punched in everything I ate, and I'm like, holy shit, no wonder I'm muffin topping. Like I am totally eating the wrong stuff. I'm eating way more than I thought I was. It was really just, it wasn't even the wrong stuff. Like I was eating okay. I was just eating, a third more than I should.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that since January. I've dropped 20 pounds. I'm like less than 8% body fat at this point. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Not fair.
It's true though. Sure. I sent Niki a photo. I'm like, hey, you want to see how lean I'm getting? And she's like, tell the truth. Did you Photoshop that?
I was like, are you like scamming me right now? Because I'm like, you did a really good Photoshop job.
I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God, she thought I Photoshopped it. I'm really making progress.
I showed it right to Matt, and he was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I was so happy. I was so happy.
Oh,
that's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, dude, you are crushing. You're my goals right now. I'm in my third week of RP, and it's a struggle. I'm getting there.
It's always the beginning that's a struggle, but at least you have time to do it. Because the hardest thing I find is not that people don't want to do it or that it's like tough from a mental perspective. It's just like hard with time restraints.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I know you, Pat, are used to prepping your food, but if you're not used to doing it for a long time, it's like, that's a hard thing. It adds time into your week that a lot of people don't just have.
Totally.
So it's like way easier if you kind of like miss a day to be like, oh, it's just one day. Like I kind of like, I have to eat out or whatever. And then it's like the next day is like, oh, well, I did it yesterday and it was really easy. So like, maybe if it's just again today, I'll get started next week. And then it gets pushed off. So I do think this is a really good time for like, if you're starting something new, it gives you time to adjust to it before you get back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally right. I mean, I found that truthfully, like it's easier for me being in the house and doing it mainly because like I would totally fall off the wagon at work where we have like a kitchen full of snacks all the time. Yeah. But even though every day feels the same, for some reason we hit Friday and I'm still like, okay, time for cocktails. That's the hardest part is like the weekends, even though the days are weird, like the weekends, I still want to go ham on all the things I'm not supposed to eat. And last weekend I baked 4 loaves of bread.
Oh my God.
Nothing wrong with that.
Bread. What bread?
Okay. You guys, I really did this. I baked a crunchy top, like sourdough kind of roasted garlic rosemary bread.
Yum.
Amazing. We ate way too much of it. And then I made like a white bread, but it like, because it's fresh, it like grew mold overnight. So we only ate a portion of it, but it was fine. It was like sad. And then I made 2 sweet potato challah bread, braided ass, like actual loaves. I fucking braided bread. Thank you very much. I am turning into Duty Homemaker. Not mad.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. If they're easy, send them to me because everyone who knows me will attest there is really nothing I love more than bread.
Dude, Matt is the same way. I would totally send them to you, but fair warning, yeast is gone everywhere. It's not in any supermarket. We can't order it. The only one we found was like a fucking 2-pound bag of it. That won't come until like
why?
April 27th. I don't know. Apocalypse, end of the world shit. People buy fucking toilet paper, vodka, and yeast. I have no idea.
Makes no sense. That does not seem like a doomsday prepping item. No. Realistically, neither is toilet paper. Like there's ways around that. So
true. Also true.
I don't understand the toilet paper thing. I went to Walgreens to pick a few things up, essential items, of course, because I don't want to get in public. And they actually had some paper goods. So I'm going to get some, I needed some, or I didn't need it. They just had some paper goods. So I'm like, I'm going to get some Kleenex. And I'm looking at the box, and I'm a banker. So I immediately start doing the math. It's got 128 sheets in it. And so I'm like, if I had to use this for toilet paper, I could poop 60 times. That's like almost 2 months of pooping, right? Why are people buying, 6 cases of toilet paper? Just go buy a box of Kleenex. You're good for like 2 months. It's great.
That's what we had to do because we actually, like, the timing just naturally worked out really badly. Like we were out of our toilet paper stock at exactly the time that everyone was buying toilet paper. And we didn't realize until you couldn't get toilet paper anywhere. So it's just like, Kleenex it is.
Yeah, it's the same thing, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's why I couldn't understand why there's paper towels. Like, okay, paper towels, I understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to sub that. But there were plenty of tissues everywhere. Tissues and paper towels. It's just the toilet paper that's gone.
Weird.
Yeah.
So weird. Aren't you excited that you got on a podcast to talk about pooping? This is awesome.
This is not where I thought the conversation would go, but
yes. Glad I trained for the game so I can talk about my bowel movements.
Yeah. I try to, we don't know what we're doing. I try to say, but no one never listens.
It's a weird time also. Like, I don't know that anyone knows where these things are going.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of part of my question for you is we are staring into such an unknown abyss at this point, like tons of sanctionals have canceled. You had gone to some, we're planning on going to some more. And, figuring out how to get back to the CrossFit Games this year, which we don't even know if that is going to happen, still on for now, but could change at any moment, could change even before we post this. So what are you sort of like, what's your mindset sort of like just looking into all of this unknown when you had some big competition goals this year?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It was really, really hard because I was in that phase with Iceland, where I was starting to really ramp up. Things were starting to feel really good, and we were starting to kind of get into the final phase of like peaking for that competition. So to go from that mindset, kind of like an all-in, kind of ready to hit the gas, to kind of just complete shutdown. Everything changes. I will say that once we realized how serious it was, that did make me worry a little bit less about competition. It's just one of those things where, like, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty with what we do, and this is our livelihood. It's what we do for a living, but there's so many people out there who are having a really, really hard time with this and have, legitimate serious problems due to this virus. So, I feel lucky where we are now that, like, my biggest concern is when I'm going to get to compete again, because I'm going to be able to compete, and ultimately, whenever those competitions do end up happening, I'll be hopefully lucky enough to be healthy and be there. So it was really tough for me at first. And I think it wasn't because of the competitions being canceled necessarily. Obviously that was a big blow to the plans. I had wanted to compete, and I'd wanted to go to the games. Now it's like, it just feels like we all need to do our best to get through this and keep kind of everybody safe. And then whatever happens for the rest of the season, if the games doesn't happen and we end up putting sanctionals kind of through what would be games time, extending the season out, but just not having a games, or if they do the games online or change the format, I think it's disappointing, but I also understand that the circumstances are what they are, and I'd rather be safe than risk something. There's always next year, and I was talking with someone, like, this is just a very long off season, I guess, time to get better at the stuff that you need to work on.
Yeah, totally. I like that you put it in perspective a little bit, because we all have a tendency to live like within our little bubbles, right? Like I felt the same way. I mean, actually today was the day that we were supposed to leave for Iceland to get there. And you were going to compete and I was going to help the morning chop up cover it. And I think at first when all the shit started shutting down, I felt the same way as you. I was like, come on, like I was ready to go. I was ready to travel. Yeah. It was going to be great. Like I even remember saying like, they're not like having it over there yet. So like, we'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And when you really start to think of the perspective of what the world is going through, I mean, you're right. It humbles you a little bit and gets you out of your tunnel vision, out of your bubble for a second to be like, shit, this is bigger than me and my plans and my problems. So it's nice to have that perspective.
Yeah, it was, I'll admit it, I had the same thing. Like when it started spreading through Europe, I was watching Iceland pretty closely and how many cases they had. And my naive mind was like, oh, they only have 73 cases. Like it'll be fine. Boston has like hundreds. We have way more coronavirus here than they have there. Like what's the risk of me traveling?
Right.
And
the same thing. And
right.
That was like, that event is not happening. And I was like, no, just wait. You'll see, it'll be fine.
Right. Well, and I think that's kind of, obviously this is completely new. It's nothing we've ever experienced. Most of us have never experienced this in our life before. So we don't really know how to take it as seriously as we should. So, I kept thinking like, oh, it's fine. One country, like there's more risk of me getting it in Boston than there is in Iceland. Like, sure, I can go compete there. And looking back at it now, it's like, that is extremely irresponsible. And there's a lot of people who kind of have that mindset now. I think like, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy, like I'll travel and it's not bad because where I am has more coronavirus than where I'm going, without thinking that you could potentially spread it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was hitting me last week. So those were my initial thoughts. Last week it hit me hard that like people are really dying. Like this is really, really serious for a lot of people, and we're not even in the worst part of it yet. And it really made me kind of think about what I'm doing and how I can help. And it's hard to feel helpless, but it's also then looking at it from a self-accountability perspective. It's like, how much are you doing to help keep this contained?
Right.
So that's, I think, all we can do is try to focus, on the one hand, not focus on ourselves so much that we lose sight of the bigger picture and, what's actually happening, but also focus on ourselves enough that we're responsible and, we do our part, even if it is pretty small.
And we have to. Oh my God. Don't we have to? I heard today that best case scenario, and best case never happens, so take this with a grain of salt, but best case scenario, 100,000 deaths in the US before this whole thing wraps up. That's insane. That is an insane amount of people.
Well, I think closer to 200, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
it is. It's absolutely ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to swallow, given that these are potentially preventable things. Yeah. I think there were people in the medical community who had predicted something like this happening, given what we know about previous coronavirus outbreaks.
Right.
But also, I think that as sad as it is that we need something so tragic and so horrible to happen for us to actually talk about some public health things that need to change, at least we're starting to hear a little bit of conversation about how to redirect our healthcare system to really help people and start actually covering people. So I'm trying to, rather than getting bogged down, I was getting bogged down in all the like terrible stories. I'm trying to refocus on like, okay, there's conversations happening. People are seeing that like, it's not right that an insurance company is going to not cover you for coronavirus.
Right.
Because it wasn't in your previous policy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And local state governments are doing right by a lot of different people and small businesses, and we're helping one another out in ways that we should. Finding a silver lining in this is crucial to not going crazy in quarantine, I think.
Agreed. And personally, like, we're really lucky that we have a great community in Boston. I know a lot of CrossFit gyms are experiencing the same thing, that the community is coming around everyone and, gyms are treating their employees really well. Invictus is still paying us. We're still employed with them. So I think and I know a lot of people in other industries aren't necessarily as lucky. So I think the CrossFit community is, a blessing in this whole thing.
Well, totally. As a banker, I feel obligated to make sure any CrossFit gyms that are listening, like, you need to take advantage of the CARE Act that has just got passed into law. Small Business Administration is going to be helping with loans that, to your point, will help you continue to pay employees of the business, help you keep business open. They've got forgivable loans. I mean, it's really, this is the one time when I'm usually kind of a conspiracy theorist and not a big government guy, but this is the one time, CrossFitters, like, you need to dig into the details and take advantage of something that's out there, because the last thing I think any of us want to see is, the 15,000 affiliates that are out there. What happens when 8,000 of them close?
I know. That's what freaks me out. And like, people who are putting their memberships on hold, I totally get it. Like, I'm not saying that that's wrong by any means, especially if you're the kind of, service industry worker who's lost their job and you can't afford to pay it anymore. But like, for the people that are putting them on hold for now, and those gyms might not be there when they're ready to come back. And that's the hard part, is we're all sort of in this give and take of, I'm not making as much, or I'm not working as much. What can I give up? What can I hold on to? And, the gym owners are doing the same thing. It's just so tough. There's no right and wrong. We're just all navigating these rocky waters together.
It's just a really hard place to have people in, I think, on both sides, because I think at the beginning we did have, when we said, the gym's closing, the natural reaction was, okay, are you still going to charge us for membership? And the hard conversation we had to have was like, well, if we let everyone cancel their membership, we won't be here to open our doors when all this is over. So again, like, of course it's completely understandable. People have lost their jobs. They can't afford to pay for things that they need. And that's completely understandable. It's just, it's difficult, like, how I'm so glad that the CARE Act was just signed, because I think it will provide aid for people that really, really need it.
Yeah.
What's been interesting for me is watching the affiliates, and what I hope a lot of the athletes you're talking about here notice is that the affiliates are going above and beyond to find ways to serve their members and their athletes that they've never done before. Like, these Zoom classes are a great example. Like our gym is doing, they post multiple option WODs, meaning like they create a workout of the day that they want you to do, and then they give you 4 others that you can choose from.
Yep.
Like, it's a ridiculous amount of programming and then on top of that, and I'd like to point out, I'm not taking advantage of any of this because I'm an asshole, but but I'm still paying them, so I'm allowed to make fun of it.
Totally.
But they're also going in and doing YouTube videos, like full demonstrations of what you should be doing, and here's your warm up, and like really going above and beyond. And these are 23-year-old kids, like, just busting their butts to make sure that the members that are continuing to pay are getting, what I would deem full value of their membership. And I don't think that's unique to Cliffside. I think that's happening in thousands of gyms across the country, across the world, really.
Yes. Yeah,
it's really,
totally.
Really kind of spectacular to see.
Yeah. We're doing the same thing at my affiliate at CrossFit Windrose, and the owner Dave has rented out almost all the equipment in the gym. So he's posting like, hey, if you have all the equipment in the world and you want to max out your deadlift, today's the day, but here's like 4 other home WODs or bodyweight WODs or things that you can do with videos, with, offering to do one-on-ones with people and really dial into nutrition right now, since people are home and have time for it. I mean, he'll do your macros and tell you what to order from Peapod in order to make the food that you need to do your macro. I mean, it's crazy. It's so amazing. Helpful. It's so much value on top of, just being a member. So.
Yeah. And I think that's perhaps it's not unique. I know that there are other studios and things like that doing Zoom classes and all that, but I think it's really because as coaches, we care about people. We don't want to, regardless of whether they're paying a membership or not, like, I'm still checking in on members who have canceled just to make sure that they're doing okay and that they have options to work out when they're at home. No one wants to see anyone kind of fall off the wagon just because of staying at home and being unmotivated. Because I know a lot of people do derive their motivation from being at the gym. Like you said, John, like, you can have all the equipment in the world and still not want to work out because it's in your own house.
Well, and I'm lucky. I mean, I've got kind of like my own separate community of people that hold me accountable or make fun of me or whatever the hell they do to me.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and like they'll send me workouts and I'll post stuff knowing good and well I'll get 50 people messaging me back going, "Hey, I did your workout and I beat you by 3 minutes," you know. And so that keeps me motivated, but I know it's really hard because I talk to people that go, "Man, I'm doing burpees again," you know, or you know, they're having to do push-ups in their living room because they don't have space for anything else. They live in these tiny little apartments, you know, and it's just so tough. I'm ready for us to get through this and get back to our community.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
So if you, and this is like way suspend reality, just kind of fantasy talk at this point, but if you had a choice in terms of how things went, you know, from here on out, I'm assuming the games are going to have to be canceled or at least postponed. But let's just say they're canceled, you know, following in the wake of like the Olympics and all these other, you know, Wimbledon was just canceled, all these other big events. Do you think that the sanctionals that have happened already should count again toward 2021? Or do you think we kind of just clean slate it from here and start with a new season? I mean, what would you prefer as an athlete?
That's actually something I haven't thought a whole lot about logistically, how they would do that, because it makes sense to me that the sanctionals that have already happened, the people who got their invites would get an invite to the games next year. Like that makes sense to me. Just, it's not fair to them. They did the work, they competed in, and it was all fair. So they should get to go. The trouble then when I think about that going forward is the Open, the people who fight out of the Open as like national champs. That's a lot of extra people to add to the roster. So logistically, I'm not actually sure if that's possible.
No.
So I don't know what they'll end up doing. I do think that it's fair that if you qualified for the games this year and they don't end up happening, that you should still get to go. Whether or not how I feel about that is from a competition perspective, if I do happen to qualify for the games next year, like I think it's fair if you qualified, you should get to go and compete. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I don't know how they work around that logistical.
No, me either. Logistical nightmare, right? Like you said, like people from the Open, national champions. I mean, sanctionals that end up rescheduling for the following season. What about the ones that did happen, get to happen again? Like Dubai happened, and then Dubai will happen again at the end of this year. Hopefully, when we're done with all this craziness. Like, so do 4 people go from that competition? I don't know.
Right.
I'm glad we're not in charge of making those decisions.
Yeah. And it's tough because then you think from a perspective of the people who have already qualified, if they put it off completely until 2021, let's say, do those people need to do the Open? Do they need to go to sanctionals again? Like, the cynic in me is like, do they get to get drug tested? Like, you know, because I mean, if you're looking at it now and you have like essentially a year and a half or a year and a bit, like, and you don't have to qualify again or do anything, you know, what do you do between now and then? You have a lot of time.
Totally.
So I do think it wouldn't be responsible to hold the games, especially given that there are so many travel restrictions now and there's so many athletes coming internationally. Getting visas is hard as is. So add in like coronavirus, and that's just, you wouldn't have a lot of the international population able to travel here. But yeah, that's gonna be an interesting twist on 2021.
I just wonder how this is all going to shake out. We're going to have to make decisions here pretty soon. I mean, all these other events are already pushing back or canceling or doing whatever. I mean, when the Olympics made the announcement, I was kind of like, okay, they're probably like the benchmark. They're probably like the standard that we're all going to go along here with. But
right. And I mean, on that note, how lucky are we as a sport that we get to compete every year we have the opportunity to compete on a big stage every year. Like coming from gymnastics, which was an Olympic sport, not that I was ever Olympic level, but you think about it and you know people who come up and go to the Olympics and you spend that entire 4 years geared towards one goal at the end of that 4 years. And it's not just that 1 year that you're peaking for that. It's like you have this track. So to add another year to that for a lot of sports is a huge, huge curveball.
Well, I didn't even think about that.
the odds are high they're canceling this. I mean, really, really
Yeah.
high. So, Steph, if you want to get your competition level on, let's set up Zoom. I'm a really strong woman, really strong. Like
That's true. That is
it
true.
is. I kill the women's RX. We'll go head to head. I'll keep you trained. I mean, you'll still beat me by a lot, but I'm good competition.
I think
It'll be
this
fun.
works.
Yeah.
I think this could work. But you have an assault bike, which I think is an unfair advantage because that tool is like one of the best in getting you really fit really fast.
I used it today. I actually have a C2 bike and an assault bike. Today I did, so I've been doing my own programming at home. And just so everybody knows, I don't just do these like super easy wads at home. What I did today was 5x3 back squats with a 3-second pause on the first lift. And then when I was done with that, I did 5 rounds for time, 15 calories on the assault bike, and then 1 round of DT with 2 minutes in between each round.
Ooh.
It was hard as shit.
That sounds tough. Will you text me that, John? I want to do that.
It gets better. I did ascending weight on DT. So I did 75 pounds, 95 pounds, 115, 135, 155.
Ooh, spicy.
So what sucked about it was the first 3 rounds are really light for me. The 75, 95, 115, I can fly through those. So you spike your heart rate, even with the rest. Yeah, it's a total trap. And then
it's a trap.
and even 135 is kind of light, but 155 sucks. So like I'm literally just standing there staring at the barbell going, what the hell, man? Like this round is
totally where I would fall apart. Is that
like the first 3 rounds were all like 2 minutes each. That last round was like 6 minutes. I'm like, it should not take me 6 minutes to do this many presses. Like this is terrible.
Ooh, John, I want to do that one.
It was fun.
That's some serious training, John. Like
it was fun.
Games 2021, you've got a long road there.
Yeah. Games 2021, Masters, Ladies RX division.
Uh-huh.
I kill the Ladies RX, but I do program hard. Like the workouts are hard. I just, don't do these, crazy heavy weights. Like I'm 49 years old. I don't need to blow my shoulders out for doing DT in my basement and they find me dead down there 4 weeks later,
I am super jealous of your double bikes.
Yeah. I'm super jealous. It sounds like you have a setup of like dreams, like just
amazing.
So here's the problem though. So like yesterday, I have the C2 bike is upstairs in front of the big screen TV. So yesterday I turned on Star Trek because I'm a nerd and I sat there.
Me too.
Yes, I biked for 60 minutes. Literally just sat there, pedaled my ass off, 26,000 meters in 60 minutes. I wasn't biking that hard, but I mean, it's 18 miles per hour almost. Like I'm just chugging along for literally a full hour. And that's what you do. Like you got nothing else. What else am I going to do?
If anyone from Concept 2 is listening, please.
I paid for that.
Send extra bikes.
I paid for the C2. I paid for that.
We paid for our C2 as well. And I was really skeptical about it. Rob was like, oh, I think this would be a great thing. And I was really skeptical. I was like, I don't know about this, And it's been one of the best things that we have, that and the runner, because Rob set up a big screen TV in our cardio room. And so on the days when I'm just like, it's cold outside, I look outside, it's raining, I just pop myself on that C2 bike, alternate between the runner sometimes. I just put on like Netflix or whatever. And it's like time just flies. And it's so much better than actually sitting in front of the TV and watching.
Yes.
So now I have a rule, like if I'm going to watch Netflix multiple episodes and I'm not eating, then I have to be on a machine.
So here's one I did.
I need this in my life.
Yeah. Here's one for you. I did 10 rounds for time, 1,500 meters. Is that right? Was it 1,500 or 2,000? I'm pretty sure it was 1,500 meters. It was 1,500 meters, 15 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 30 air squats. So you got to go hard. You got to go hard on the, what is essentially Cindy, kind of. I just don't have a pull-up bar in my living room. God forbid. But it's kind of like Murph training, but you gotta like try to recover on the bike, but still go hard enough that you're not costing yourself time. It sucks. And it takes 50 minutes because it's 10 rounds. Like you can't cheat the time on the bike, Yeah.
I like that.
It's fun though.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And you can sit there and watch TV. I got through like a couple episodes. It was awesome.
Dude, the Braziers need a bike. It's gotta happen.
I think so.
It's gotta happen.
It
But
is.
downstairs in the mudroom.
Be perfect.
Right?
Kaya comes in the room with me and sits right in front of the fan. She knows what's going on, so she knows she's going to be there a while. She brings the bone, just pops herself right in front of the fan.
Nice. The real winner of the quarantine is Kaya, for sure.
Steph, do you know how to cheat? Do you know how to cheat the assault bike? I mean, the C2 bike?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna teach you this, but you can't let your husband listen to this, and then you need to like just destroy him one day and like freak him out.
Blow his mind on the bike.
So if you take a towel or a shirt, like I did this with the twins the other day at the gym. If you put your shirt over the fan and completely cover it, it makes the monitor go crazy, like absolutely crazy. So like Saxon and I were next to each other biking, and we put it on his, and we're literally biking the exact same speed, and he was racking off calories like 3 times as fast. You know, it was like insane. So you need to like go post a 10K time of like 8 minutes or something crazy, and show him and just freak him out.
Just make it real casual. Like start on the bike real hard, and then like 2 minutes in, like just take your shirt off real quick and like just drape it over the front of the flywheel. Easy. Like,
so never know. So I did know about this trick, but I didn't know that it was a trick. It happened by accident. So Rob will know that I did this.
Damn it.
I know, because I did exactly that. I took off my shirt and then like hung it on the thing, and it got sucked into the wheel.
Yep.
And I'm going, and I'm at damper 7, which for me is like, I don't usually ride that high. And I'm like, this feels great. Like I'm crushing this bike today.
So good right now.
Rob comes over and he goes, and he takes my shirt off, and all of a sudden the resistance goes up again.
Damn it.
Like, oh man, it's feeling so good.
I love that. I love that trick.
Well, I'm a huge fan. Anyone listening, I'm telling you, go get a C2 bikes. Best thing in the house. No doubt about it.
They're great. They're great. We originally were going to get an assault bike, and then just where we were living, it was going to be too loud. So the C2 bike was a good compromise. But if we had more space, we'd start building out the home gym. Right now, I think that room is pretty full. It has the runner and the bike and some room for like body weight stuff.
I'm surprised you can do the runner on the second floor there. That's not too loud?
No, we put it up on like little planks.
Nice.
So to try to keep the noise down. I'm actually not sure how it sounds when we're really running. Obviously we haven't been downstairs to hear it, but it doesn't sound super loud to us.
Nice.
No one's complained yet. So
yeah,
that runner's brutal. I ran on one, several weeks ago at the gym. I was talking to the owner of Assault about it. It just destroys your calves. Like, I don't know what it is about the thing. It's just like, I ran a mile and I got done and I looked at the time. I'm like, you effing liar. Like, there's no way that mile is that slow.
Yeah, it's like running uphill only.
My world. Yeah.
When I was marathon training in 2017, I spent 60 minutes on one time. And it was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And I was hella conditioned to never doing that shit again.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how it really does force you into good form. Like you can feel it the second you start to like drop your hips. It's like all of a sudden like your calves and your hips and everything just lights up and you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't feel right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So I can feel it the second I get on it because my form is shitty. So totally makes sense.
My running form is the worst. I heel strike like I was probably put on this fucking earth just to heel strike. Like that's how bad it is. And Matt used to complain that like he could hear me walking all over the house at all points of day and night, and I would be like, shut up, you know what you're talking about, like stop making fun of me, whatever. I went to the like technical running store to get fitted for like really nice running shoes back when I was marathon training, and the guy like looked at my old runners, like stuck his fingers in the heel and was like, whoa. I was like, wait, no, really? Like my husband's right when he bitches about me walking like fucking like stone through the house? And he's like, yeah, you're probably hitting your shoes with like 8 to 10 times your body weight in your heel. And I was like, oh, that's so heavy. So many pounds. Damn it.
Rob says the same thing when I run and when I walk. He's like, I can hear you around the block.
Yeah.
Like I know you're coming.
Yeah.
Do you have a run coach? Do you use somebody for running?
Yes, I actually just started working with a guy. He's a member at Invictus. He's coached many other athletes, but a couple other girls who are in the area. So we started working together just to work on my form a little bit. I didn't grow up running, so it's not super natural for me. So it's something where when I get tired, it really deteriorates fast.
Yeah, it's always amazing to me how many, people just, and even games athletes, that they never train running ever. It's just like, they just think, all right, we just go out and run. And like, I had a run coach for a summer. I always thought that. I'm like, look, what you do, you put one foot in front of the other, you just go run around the block. How hard can this shit be? Like, it's not that hard. And then I got a run coach, and he said the same thing Niki was just saying. He's like, dude, you look like an idiot. Like, what are you doing? And within 90 days, he had taken 2 minutes off my mile just by making me more efficient. Like, it wasn't like I got any stronger necessarily. I mean, I think I got a little, like kind of naturally faster from running a lot, but it was really just like, to your point, like not having your hips sag and having your feet in the right place. None of which I can do now, by the way, but.
But you know it.
But I know it. I know
it's in there somewhere.
You could do it.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny. And trust me, it's not for lack of training running. There's been years that I've been doing running, putting in the distance and kind of doing the intervals and all the things that you're supposed to do to get better at running. It's just not something that's natural to me. It's like being upside down, supernatural. Being like running, not supernatural. There's just something that feels funny about it, and I don't know what feels right, and I know it doesn't feel efficient, but we're working on fixing that and getting me a little bit more efficient at distance.
It's me with like every CrossFit movement. I don't know what feels right. I don't know I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna keep moving. This is wrong.
It doesn't feel great, but I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing it.
See, wait till you guys get older, and then it's like life just does that shit to you. Like, I just wake up some mornings and I'm like, I hope my ankles feel good today. I hope when I get out of bed, they don't crack like I'm crumpling up a piece of paper, and some days they do, some days they don't. Every day's a gift.
Yeah.
It's great.
Especially now, man.
I know. Yeah, for sure right now.
Well, now that you have an assault bike, you're going to wake up fit every single day.
I'm jealous.
No, I'm not. I'm not putting it in every single workout. I do it. I ride the C2 bike almost every day. Like, full disclosure, like, just because it's easy. Like, you just get on it and just pedal your ass off for an hour. The assault bike, I view like sprinting. So like, I try to do it 2 times a week, maybe. Like, that's enough for me to not completely and utterly hate it, and enough to know that I'm using it to get fit. Like, today was good. Like, 15 calories is pretty good. I put it in a lot of EMOMs, and I'll do 12 to 15 calories in a minute, and just rev that thing up really hard for 15 to 25 seconds, and then take off the rest of the minute, because that's how I roll. But
yeah,
that's enough. That's enough for me, really. I don't need to do it too much. My daughter hates it too, and my dad hates it. So the whole family hates it.
Oh, it's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
It's genetic.
Oh, I love it.
It really is.
Well, this was fun, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Steph should just be on all the time. We could just
all
come on. And, yeah.
I have nothing to do. Well, that's not exactly true, but I've got a lot of time right now.
In between Zoom classes, totally free.
Perfect.
We should just make the podcast like you, me, and like 10 games athletes every week, and we just all just get on and just talk about all the dumb shit we're doing in our houses.
I mean, like, I feel like there's not much else to talk about right now other than like, you good? Hey, you alive? You good over there? You quarantined? Cool. What's your workout today? Cool. What bullshit did you eat like out of your pantry that you should not have had?
I know. I'm craving like the conversations that aren't revolving around like quarantine. Like, I know it's impossible because nothing else is happening. So
that's just it.
Everyone's talking about that. Like, Rob and I have run out of things to watch on YouTube, which is really hard to do. I don't know. Yeah. And I ran through my Netflix list very fast. I'm going back to old shows, like rewatching seasons.
We are rewatching old Great British Baking Show right now.
A lot of people are watching that. I never watched that.
Ooh, add it to your list.
I might need to do that.
Highly recommend. They're so nice to each other. I don't understand. It's so cute.
So British.
Yeah, so British.
I've gotten so deep into YouTube. I stumbled across some video of some guy who claimed his grandfather had killed Bigfoot, and he still had Bigfoot's hand frozen in his fur. You can't make this shit up. This is like the deep web of YouTube.
Please send me this link.
Oh,
so
it's
great.
They're so like, you just like, I don't know what happens. Like, 1 minute I'm watching guitar videos and like learning stuff, to learn to play. Next thing I'm watching some guy holding a hand of Bigfoot. It's just like, that's the way YouTube rolls. It's the best.
You get pretty deep, pretty lost.
Damn.
We definitely do that. We like food videos. So we watch
Yes.
people making food or explaining how they made food and then critiquing their food. And then we also watch, what have we been watching on YouTube? We watch, what'd you say?
Tiger King.
Oh my God, can we talk about Tiger King?
I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I've just seen the memes.
Seen it.
You haven't seen it either? Oh my God, you get Rob in the room. Someone needs to talk to me about this show.
So Rob watched all of it. I watched like the first, 10 minutes with him.
Stop.
I had to go somewhere else and he continued to watch it and he binged it on his own. And now
Rob, that is the cardinal rule of quarantine. You can't do that. Oh my God.
And I was being all nice, not binging the shows that we were watching together without him. And now I have to watch Tiger King by myself.
Oh my God. He's got John. You gotta watch with Steph on Netflix Party now.
Look, I feel like I've already seen it because I've seen all the memes. This is my problem.
No. There's not enough memes in the world to explain the twists and turns of this bullshit. You have to watch.
All right.
This is next on my list. I'll put the Blacklist on hold. I'm making some serious progress in the Blacklist, by the way.
Okay, good.
If I can only find time in the 14 hours I'm doing nothing, I'll do my best.
Put on the C2 bike. Get on the C2 bike.
And put on Tiger King.
Tiger King. I'm telling you right now, it is what you need right now.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I will.
Right.
It'll be meme gold. It'll be good.
Oh, it will be. It will be. And if you can incorporate me into any Tiger King memes, I'm all about it.
See, I don't get to
love the show.
I run into the same problem Steph's talking about here. Like I get on YouTube and it's like, oh, you like this video, we suggest this. And so I watch it. And then because you've gone a little farther down the rabbit hole, it's like, oh, we'll suggest this. And next thing you know, you're seeing Bigfoot getting killed by somebody's granddad. Like it's the
You
weird.
didn't ask for it, but that's what you've gotten. Yep.
You want the
Never watch
best?
YouTube.
Ghost videos is the best on YouTube.
Okay, I can get behind that shit.
It is
because
so
ghosts
good.
are real, you guys.
So much creepy shit out there, and it's all so funny. It's just the best. So good.
YouTube is such a great universe.
I never ever watch. We've been we have Netflix, Hulu, and I've been really into some of the Amazon Prime shows lately.
Yeah, they're good.
And don't get down into YouTube. I've got to. Now I have all the time in the world, so sure.
I legit told one of the girls the other day I was considering getting rid of Netflix and Hulu and just having YouTube. It's that good. There's so much crazy shit out there. It's like, and it never ends.
Well, don't get rid of Netflix until you watch Tiger King.
Yeah, I know. I'm not getting rid of Netflix. Come on.
Now's not the time to get rid of Netflix.
I'm in a quarantine. I'm adding shit. I just added CBS Access so I could watch more Star Trek. Like,
Discovery.
Yes, I'm in the middle of season 2.
You got to watch The Expanse on Amazon. It's like,
I've heard of that.
So good. If you're a sci-fi fan, I'm not like all way caught up or anything, but as a Trekkie for life, it's definitely like scratching the itch. It's good.
You know what I have not been watching are CrossFit videos at all. I have not watched it. I haven't watched The Fittest. I haven't watched.
You haven't
watched. I can't bring myself to watch it. Like it just makes me sad. I don't.
Oh, really? I think you should watch it. I thought it was really good.
I kind of feel like I need to now that Dave is trash talking everybody, but I mean, he's just like poor Vellner, like Jesus, like he is just on this guy's ass 24/7.
Yeah, he's taken to social media for sure to give his own opinion, but I think it's definitely worth a watch. The guys did a really, really nice job with it. And also what's worth a listen to afterwards is Sean and Tommy's podcast, Talking Elite Fitness, where they have Dave Castro on, where he gives a lot of his own opinions following the film and on some of the critiques that the athletes made on some of the things that happened at the games last year. He's great. He's so well spoken and he's very conscious of, all the different sort of mindsets out there. And I just think he does a really good job. So it's worth watching, it's worth listening, and then it's worth looking at the trolling he's doing of Vellner and other athletes on his Instagram too.
Oh my God. And just reading the comments of it's just like gold. It's so good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that either. We've been, we have a lot of streaming services. So we've been just rotating between them, get sick of one, go on to another. Mm-hmm. But I forgot about The Fittest. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well, what you should do, Steph, is go into your Instagram page and make some comment that you think that if it had been structured different, there would have been a different top 10, and Dave will just light you up for it. Like he cannot handle any criticism. And I'd like to go on record here. I love Dave. I think he's an amazing programmer, smart guy. He's a great coach. Like, I don't have a lot of complaints about him, but he handles criticism worse than I do. And that's impressive as fuck.
Really? Do you think so? I don't think so. To me, when he like lights people up like that, it's like, well, 1.5 million fucking people give him their opinion constantly. So he just gives it back. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't know.
I don't blame him for doing it. I'm just saying, like, he's gone in on Vellner so hard, and Vellner's a smart dude. It's not like he's just a total dumbass over here. I mean, like, he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing, and he just like totally discounts everything he says. It's so much fun for me. I love it.
Yeah, like, it's just two dudes like who disagree on something.
I know. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah. I won't even need to @ Dave Castro. Just post it and he'll find me.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll find the comment.
Post it and they will come.
He sees everything. He's like Santa Claus. He sees all.
Yeah,
absolutely sees all.
I think so. I'm really happy that their Instagram page is back.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying seeing, like, I don't do a lot of like searching within Instagram to find like new people in different boxes and things. So I really like seeing theirs, posting like people doing workouts from different gyms or what different gyms are doing for their members. And so I've really been enjoying that.
Yeah, me too. And I'm glad they're back. I'm glad they're rocking this initiative to sort of help gyms out. I'm glad that United in Movement has come along to help people out as well. And there's not a ton of information yet on exactly how all of that is going to be structured, but I'm just glad to see that there are initiatives out there that are starting to gain momentum, and that will hopefully, within the next couple weeks, drop a ton more details on how exactly boxes and humanitarian efforts and people who are struggling will get the help that they need.
Right. I was really excited when you asked me to do a video for that, even though I was like, what am I going to film? But I think that's really cool. I just heard of it and all of a sudden it blew up everywhere. And it's going to be cool to know more details.
Yeah, exactly.
Help people.
So what we know right now in terms of all this stuff is 2 things are happening on Friday. CrossFit is launching a Support Your Local Box initiative, which is an online competition that will raise money directly for gyms. And then United in Movement is another group that is also launching Friday that is a similar sort of online competition. I think there are different durations. I think that the CrossFit one might be 3 weeks or 5 weeks, like once a week kind of thing. Then United in Movement is going to be like once a day for 7 days or something along those lines. And we'll be raising money for, people who are struggling, humanitarian efforts and small businesses. And there'll be a committee that will review applications for people who can apply and say that they would like some help. And United in Movement is launching with this 24-hour YouTube stream-a-thon where we're like, just blasting content, talking to people, getting folks like Steph involved you can lead classes and you can like kind of do some mobility here and pop into a bodyweight class over there with a different athlete and, just raise money and awareness and be part of this community. I think everyone is just trying to make content and make ways for us to connect with one another while we're all stuck at home, which is great. I miss that part of being in the gym. So it's nice to have it online.
It is. And it's so lucky that we have the ability to do that now. Our infrastructure, our social media infrastructure is very good. In years ago, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to even connect with people other than maybe a phone call.
Yeah.
Well,
and now John can make all the memes he wants.
I know. I'm actually hoping with this CrossFit at home, Support Your Box open that they're doing, that I get to hit my 1 rep max on a broom snatch. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, so that's what you're training for right now?
Yes. Yep. Broom snatches and antifreeze jug deadlifts. It's going to be so much fun.
Hey man, they predicted this shit would happen.
Yeah.
Hey,
we were all laughing and now we're all like, get the soup cans out.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think like if there is a bright, there are going to be some bright spots that come out of this pandemic. And one of them is people are going to realize you don't have to have a barbell and a bunch of dumbbells and like all this fancy equipment to stay fit. Mm-hmm. And, you're not going to be games level athlete by not having that stuff, but you can absolutely do chair dips and burpees and push-ups and sit-ups and stay really, really fit.
Totally.
and I think people are going to learn that and realize that like they're going to come out of this and get back to CrossFit and realize they're not going to die in the first week, assuming they're not sitting on the couch eating Cheetos every night. Right. So, I mean, Niki, you might die, but everybody else.
I might. Hey, I'm pulling doubles over here. I'm trying.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I'm trying not to dip too much into the peanut butter.
Yeah, it's so hard though.
I know.
Peanut butter.
Matt had to write limit intake on the peanut butter jar on the top of it in Sharpie for me. I am well aware, sir, that I must limit my intake.
I just feel like there's going to be a label on like the cabinet, like caution, proceed with caution.
Do not enter.
On the shelf, like think twice, and then on the thing, limit intake. It's like every step.
We're there. We're there.
Think about your actions.
Do you really want to be doing this? But like in a moment of like sheer like peanut butter rage, I'm like, yes, I want to do.
You just blow through all the signs.
All of them.
Oh, peanut butter's the best. There's nothing wrong with peanut butter. 24/7 for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love peanut butter.
All right, guys. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. This is
anytime. Anytime. And we'll set up our Zoom competition soon.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm really excited. I'm going to judge.
You program.
Oh, great. Peanut butter for time. I would really actually not be sure who would win that competition.
This is perfect. Yeah, I'm a serious peanut butter eater. This is great. Each of us can make up a workout. We'll Zoom, do it all together. Whatever you want. Maybe unfitness related.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to start thinking about this.
All right, let's plan this. I think this will be an ongoing thing. We'll definitely do this.
Fantastic.
We got nothing but time. Let's make this happen.
Do it.
I love it.
Totally.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in, and make sure you go follow Steph Chung on Instagram and keep track of her career. At some point, CrossFit's coming back, and she's a rising star in it. So make sure you pay attention to her. Niki and I will be back soon to apparently continue to talk about this pandemic that I think may go on forever. God forbid. For those of you listening, stay safe. Make sure you're maintaining social distancing. That is actually very important and not a joke. And we will talk to you guys all soon.